things didn't go well for Canelo when Crawford assaulted him at the airport. He was then placed in handcuffs. After a rapidly intensifying altercation, airport officials apprehended Crawford.
Easy stuff about me going up and having a tough time, but he went up in weight and lost. That's the difference. I went up weight and won.
According to reports, the undisputed welterweight champion was detained by authorities after a brief altercation.
Tell him we going for Canelo next. Yes. Let's go. Canelo, come on.
Even though he was detained, it did not indicate that his situation would worsen. Fortunately, he was freed soon after being placed under arrest. British boxing manager Eddie Hearn claims that Terence Crawford is only considering fighting one opponent at this point in his career, Canelo Alvarez. Crawford is already an undisputed champion in the super lightweight and welterweight divisions and recently made a spectacular debut in the super welterweight division, defeating the formidable Israel Momov to win the WBA title. With this victory, he established himself as a major force in the super welterweight division and took a step toward becoming a boxing legend. Crawford seems to have his sights set on a major altercation with Canelo Alvarez. According to Hearn, the confidant is more focused on the money and the customs that would result from the super welterweight class being united.
Johnny Boy Boxing Fight Hype. I just want to ask you, what do you think about Terence Crawford? What do we think about Terence Crawford's performance, and do you want to get a fight with him?
If the money is right, I mean,
$100 million. I heard Turkey offered you a big money already.
150.
150.
Terence Crawford has the exceptional opportunity to become the first boxer to unify 3 categories in the 4-belt year, thereby creating boxing history. The WBO has ordered their champion, Sebastian Fandora, who also holds the WBC championship, to defend against Crawford after he defeated Israel Momov to win the WBA title in the super welterweight category.
Match, but not in this moment. Now I need to maximize the most money for the fighter. I believe he deserves it.
Is that Errol Spence Jr.?
That's correct.
Over Crawford? Like, does Spence more money? Or?
No, Crawford will not sell out 90,000 people in Dallas. I can tell you that much.
But
Crawford would get closer to being a 3-division player if he faced Furrow. Undisputed King is a historic achievement that very few boxers have even approached, but Crawford seems to have shifted his attention to another prize despite the glory that would accompany such a feat. Alvarez Canelo, the powerful Matchroom promoter Eddie Hearn, has been open about what he believes is behind Crawford's recent actions. Hearn thinks Crawford is more focused on landing high-profile bouts that will enable him to live well in retirement than he is on creating a lasting boxing legacy. Terence Crawford won't likely fight again until it's against Canelo Alvarez, in my opinion. I don't believe poor is interested in taking on Jaron Boots or Virgil Ortiz, but he informed me he's earned good money in his previous 3 bouts. Canelo's viewpoint is indicative of a larger problem in the boxing business, particularly the tendency of those who have already achieved considerable success to become more selective in their latter years, as he is now only interested in large payouts. Onis. Hearn claims that Crawford, who is now 36 years old and has already solidified his legacy in boxing, is searching for the most lucrative opportunities before hanging up his gloves. Following his recent bail with MMTH and his well-publicized wins against Errol Spence Jr., Crawford's career earnings have soared in recent years. His perspective on his next battles has undoubtedly shifted as a result of these enormous payouts. Crawford has been used to earning hefty sums for his performances, as Hearn said, so it's doubtful that he would accept a salary reduction to take on obscure opponents like Jaron Nis or Virgil Ortiz. According to Per, he is now used to that salary level, and a confrontation with Canelo Alvarez is the only way to maintain those numbers. He doesn't seem eager to fight anybody else, particularly not a youthful opponent. In my opinion, Crawford is in a unique position because of this fact. Even though he has the opportunity to create history by uniting the super welterweight class, he is happy to wait for the ideal opportunity to earn a huge salary, something that only a bout with Canelo Alvarez could intriguingly offer rather than taking on anybody. Earlier this year, Saudi Arabian boxing leader Alak of Turkey expressed interest in organizing the huge music event, which almost led to the Canelo bout. Ashik officially canceled his offer and issued a lengthy statement blaming Canelo of avoiding both David Benavidez and Crawford, but Sheikh went so far as to put the fight at the top of his boxing wish list. The comment undoubtedly caused some controversy in the sport and temporarily put a stop to any discussions about a fight between Crawford and Canelo, but it seems that the two sides' differences have been resolved and the match is again back on the table. Timing is the only issue. For now, Canelo Alvarez has his own strategy. Before returning to the ring for Crit, he said that he would take a break to spend time with his family or enjoy his money after the bout with Baranga. Waiting in the wings is what this signifies. He might, However, look at other possibilities, including a duel with Sebastian Furrow or up-and-coming rising stars like Yin and Is or Virgil Ortiz. He seemed excited to await Canelo. It's obvious from Hearn Crawford's demeanor that he has no desire in a bout that doesn't provide a huge salary.
Was supposed to fight
Terence Crawford,
Terence Crawford
that.
for the WBO title, and now that he's fighting Spence, it's gonna get stripped from him.
Right.
So
Eddie Hearn has expressed openly his skepticism about Crawford's prospects in the game. If he didn't fight again, I wouldn't be surprised. Hearn said that he had already gained a significant amount of money, that he may not want to risk it all again after that difficult argument with me. As their careers come to a conclusion, many elite fighters adopt a cautious approach, which is reflected in Carr's remarks. A possible mega battle with Canelo when the horizon comes out. With millions in the bank, Crawford is waiting for the ideal opportunity to present itself, and that opportunity is Canelo Alvarez. He is not in a hurry to take on lesser-known opponents. Hearn went on. He could have lost it all there, but I don't believe he got away with it. He probably looks at the Israel MMA match and thinks, bliss. Now that he's more thoughtful, he won't go back into the ring unless it would result in a massive payout. Crawford seems content to wait it out for the time being. He has no desire to making a rapid comeback to the ring, and Hearn believes it is doubtful that fans will see him fight again before the year is up. Crawford will instead buy himself some time by maintaining his fitness while awaiting the ideal opportunity about with Canelo Alvarez. Crawford has a clear long-term plan. He wants to pursue the biggest celebrity in the sport in order to obtain the largest payout. It's unclear if the fight will really happen, but one thing is for sure, Crawford is committed to making it happen as he waits for Canelo to initiate contact. Fandora is another objective Crawford may discover that might soon be realized.
In boxing, he's a legend right now in the sport, and one of the top fighters. So, I like to get in the ring with him too. It'd be a great fight. He's before that Terence Crawford fight, he was considered one of the best fighters in the world. Let's do it. Whatever they give me, Earl Spence is a great opportunity. I think it's a match made in heaven.
Furrow was initially considering a bout with Errol Spence Jr., the guy Crawford had vanquished to establish himself as the undisputed welterweight champion. However, his focus has been restored by Fender's recent triumph against Tinu, in which he won the WBO and WBC championships. The WBO has ordered Fender to start talks with Crawford within the next 30 days, which puts him in a difficult situation if he does not come to a deal with Crawford quickly. This might create a significant obstacle in his ambitions to fight Spence. With the very real possibility that Fandora might lose his WBO title, the WBO has vowed to ask for a purse. The pair's instruction is unambiguous. The defendant will forfeit any reluctance to proceed with the Crawford battle unless both parties agree differently. Fandora now has a difficult decision: go on with his plan to fight Spence, risking losing his WBO belt, or change course and go for the fight with Quinn, accepting the potential of a big unification. Clash Fandora, who had earlier had a great urge to confront Bana, is now unsure about what to do next. There is a possibility and a challenge in taking on a champion like Crawford, one of the most successful fighters of this age, but the stakes are enormous for Fandora. He has put a lot of effort into earning this championship, and one mistake might cost him more than just a battle. After winning the WBA title from Moth in his super welterweight debut, Crawford is now one step closer to a victory that might solidify his legacy thanks to the WBO's decision. Crawford may go closer to an unheard-of feat, becoming a three-weight undisputed champion with a unification bout against Fandora. Crawford has previously triumphed in the welterweight and super lightweight categories, and the WBO is now standing in his way of even greater success. It may happen even more quickly than anticipated, but here's an intriguing fact. Many people are curious about how Terence Crawford's abilities would hold up at a heavier weight after he swam over Israel when Matter mobbed at 150 pounds. In their super welterweight battle, Crawford faced a tough opponent who put his abilities to the test. Although Crawford won, it was unclear whether he would be able to move up to other weight classes to face Canelo Alvarez at 168 pounds. Although he has some reservations, Crawford himself seems receptive to the concept. 2 days after his victory, Crawford said in a Christmas interview that money would be the primary determinant of his choice. "You understand what I mean," Crawford advised guys to fight if the money was appropriate. He kept the possibility of a fight with Canelo open with those remarks, but despite his assurance, he said. The reality of moving up from 150 for a pound to 168 billion is a monumental job, and Cret knows it. Alvarez is concentrating on his bout. I am returning to my family. I'm going to unwind. I will relish this victory, take pleasure in all of my boxing achievements at this stage of his career. Crawford has already solidified his status as a multi-division world champion in boxing history. Every challenge he has faced has been overcome. How Canelo's weight of 168 pounds would be a whole different task in terms of both size and talent, perhaps pushing him to the edge of his capabilities. Crawford maintains his optimism, but he understands that rising in the ranks requires more than simply talent. It also requires power and resilience that cut across divides. At 150 pounds, Madoff is a formidable foe, but he is nothing compared to the monsters Crawford faces at super middleweight. Naturally huge and having fought at the weight for years, Canelo Alvarez has shown he can withstand the abuse of much bigger opponents and still prevail. For CT, fighting Canelo in the ring means taking on a fighter who has already won a title at heavier weights and has the knockout power to support it. Crawford is used to conquering challenges. He has advanced through the ranks, beating champions in many weight classes except 168 pounds to enter uncharted territory, but as he considered the potential altercation with Canelo, the challenge didn't appear to scare Crawford. I'm rather certain that move could fight at 168, so no. Crawford said that this man is large in the minors. He was very competitive and battled at a heavier weight than he does today. It's accurate what Crawford said regarding Madoff's size. Although Crawford did a good job with Madoff, a seasoned best fighter like Canelo, Madoff is far different than an opponent like Moog. Canelo has been a dominant super middleweight and even went up to light heavyweight to earn a crown, whereas Madoff may have fought at heavier weights in the amateur ranks. Crawford's potential leap to 168 pounds is a huge bet since the gap may be significant. Although Crawford has taken his strength up to 10,054 pounds 168, which is a whole different amount of money, the true issue is if his abilities, timing, ring IQ, and PO can withstand larger and stronger opponents. Crawford's work gets much more difficult because beast warriors like Canelo, who have spent years perfecting their craft at that weight class, are used to the speed and power that come with larger bodies. They have honed their technique around dealing with other huge fighters. When he's giving up significant size and power advantages, can he still outthink and outbox opponents? Crawford will face one of the top pound-for-pound fighters in the sport in addition to the world's top super middleweight if he decides to forward with the bout. Canelo has defeated Caleb Plant, Sergey Kovalev, and Gennady Golovkin. Even though Crawford's talents are obviously world-class, his ability to withstand blows from a real super middleweight like Canelo might be the difference between him and fighters with size, power, and experience at bigger weights. Despite considerable questions about Terence Crawford's ability to bulk up and handle the size and strength of Canelo Alvarez, Alexander Usyk, the undisputed heavyweight champion from Ukraine, has lately waited for the opportunity to challenge Alvarez. Usyk presents an alternative perspective. Many may be missing Crawford's remarkable skill set and versatility in the ring at USIC size, but the Ukrainian sees something in him. Crawford's intelligence, adaptability, and skill as a boxer might provide serious challenges for Canelo. In a recent interview, Usyk confidently claimed that Crawford might win and that he had trust in his prospects. Terence is a changed guy, in my opinion, after defeating the Mexican superstar. Terence works on both the left and the right sides. Usyk pointed out that the American Zam, a skillful fighting technique, Crawford's ability to move between South American and Orthodox dances, and his fluidity in the ring are the main reasons the heavyweight champions believe in him. Usyk, who has based his professional success on his own versatility and talent, believes Crawford has a similar trait and highlighted another aspect of Crawford's game that may offer him an advantage. He senses that Terence can box like a large man because of his command of distance. Usyk went on to say that this is great feedback from a fighter like himself, who used his cunning, footwork, and spatial awareness to get from cruiserweight to one of the world's best heavyweights. If USIC believes Crawford is capable of boxing like a big man, it indicates that he believes Crawford's approach might offset some of Canelo's physical advantages. According to USIC, those who think the possible size difference is too huge to overcome could be surprised by Finn Crawford's abilities. Crawford moves up to 168 pounds to take on a season in a strong super middleweight like Canelo Snow, although he has never fought for more than 150 pounds. Yi's perspective, however, is grounded in his knowledge of the sweet science. He is aware that technique, timing, and preparation often prevail in boxing and that size isn't everything. Music battles, on the other hand, a lot of other boxing experts believe that Crawford would be taking a huge risk if he tried to compete against a boxer as powerful and intimidating as Canelo. After all, Canelo has shown that his strength and power can translate into higher categories by competing against and defeating considerably bigger opponents at both super middleweight and light heavyweight. Music Usyk, however, sticks to his forecast. It supports the notion that Crawford's boxing IQ and his capacity for adaptation and adjustment make his Canelo to lose his rhythm and have difficulties in the music ring at this time. The boxing world is waiting impatiently to see if a fight between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez will actually happen. Canelo's fight against Edgar Bonga and CTT biding his time may take a few more months before serious negotiations begin, but if all goes according to plan, fans could be treated to one of the most eagerly awaited matchups in recent history. For Crawford to face Canelo isn't just about money, it's about solidifying his legacy. He is one of the greatest fighters of all time, so if he can secure the fight and win, it would unquestionably be the pinnacle of an already illustrious career. Until then, all Crawford can do is wait. What do you think? Does CFT defeat Canelo? Or is he being overly ambitious? Please share your thoughts below and remember to like and subscribe to the station for more updates. See you at the next one.